Good evening. So I don't typically do lives at this time of the day, but what I'm going to be doing for the next few days and a week or so is I've actually asked a few guests to join me on my live that I believe um, have got a lot of value to give and information and knowledge. So tonight I've got Romeo on my live, and Romeo is going to chat a bit about one or two of the projects that he's involved in, specifically one on the data protection side. So let me just quickly, Romeo, how's it? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing, Quentin?
Good on you, man.
Good.
Romeo, yeah, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I know I've caught you in between Zoom calls and that, as we all have Zoom calls every night. But do you want to maybe just, as a start, just share with us your sort of story and how you got involved in network marketing, and how long and that kind of thing? Yeah.
But my sister actually dragged me into this because it's not something I was ever considering. I'm a professional pump station designer. That's what I do for a living, and I do it every day.
Okay.
Have done for 30 years, and she came with the concept of network marketing with one of the previous companies that she got involved in, and man, it took her months to convince me, and eventually I actually just bought into the concept just to get it off my back, basically.
Okay.
But because I'd spent money on it, I thought, well, best to go and have a look and see what this is all about. It was difficult in the beginning. I'll tell you why. Because people, naturally, when you always start with your friends and your family,
Yes.
you know what I mean, and they accommodate you, and they're nice and polite and whatever the case is.
I'm not sure if that's the best idea always, but yeah, that's where we all start.
I actually figured out it's not. Those are the last people you go to. Once you're making money and you're successful at it, then you go back to the family.
Yes.
But then the other thing I found with my colleagues, you know what I mean, and it depends, I suppose, on how people regard you in the field that you're in, that they know you from, when you get started in this. You don't come across as a professional network marketer. And in fact, since March last year when I got involved, I think I've only met 4 really serious professional network marketers. Everybody else is just dabbling, everybody's trying, looking for different income streams, etc., etc. And so when you discuss with people, the first thing I had to get my mind around is that I've got to forget about what they might think of me. It's something that I want to pursue, and it's something that I think can add value to my life as a second or third stream of income.
Yes.
And if you're not going to do it properly, then don't do it. That kind of thing. But it's a long process. You've got to understand. That's why we talk to people like you. How do you actually do the social media marketing on this type of thing? How do you work with the funnels? How do you get the numbers out? And a lot of people like to oversell the concept. So I quickly learned, and thankfully by the professionals, that you don't need to say much.
Yes,
at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've got a product, or you've got a concept, or whatever, depending on what type of network marketing system it is. And the idea is to get people, in the old days before COVID, you used to drag people's backsides to a seminar. They called it getting bums in seats.
Yes.
And you'd find the guys that actually were extremely good at putting people in front of an audience, or getting them as part of an audience, those were the very successful guys as far as the numbers were concerned and what their results were as network marketers. But when you talk to them in depth, they actually don't even understand the product or the whole concept. And, you and I both know a guy like Pierre Hugo, you know what I mean? That guy can get 50 people in a room in a drop of a hat.
Yes.
But talk to him about the concept of the thing that him and I were sharing and that you know of, he wouldn't actually know the detail. It wasn't important for him to know the detail.
Yes.
The professionals know the detail. The guys giving the seminars know the detail, and that's where you would then close the deal. So that I found very quickly, if you want to build numbers, that's the right way to go about it. Yeah. And then, of course, using social media and all the rest of it, that's why we talk to you all day.
So also just on that note, obviously, so what you find is also everybody's got different skill sets. So
absolutely.
And that actually leads me to the next question is, how do you typically build your network? Because like you just mentioned, what I've noticed, everybody's got their own sort of style. So there's certain ground rules that we follow but the way we do it might differ from you and from me, but we all go about it a different, sort of slightly different way. How do you typically go about the process of building your network?
Quentin, I think the right question there is, it depends on which type of system you're actually taking to market. Because,
okay.
I mean, if you think about it, you'll get the typical pyramid structured system. And I don't call them schemes because scheme makes you sound like you're a bullshitter.
Yes.
But the pyramid structured systems that rely heavily on numbers for anybody to really earn money, you know what I mean? And some of them that are not product based, there's no product to sell. You're basically just selling the fact that new people would come in.
Yes.
Those kind of systems, you need extremely high volume numbers. So then using funnels, the stuff that you do and all those things, then I would chase hard after that kind of concept. As for me, I like to chase professional investors. That's why I like the data one that I'm busy with now with Iova. The product there is basically the data that will end up being monitored and sold. It'll be monetized and sold. So that's a completely different concept. When I talk to people about that one, I talk to people that I know are influential.
Yes.
They're not network marketers at all. And they probably would never sign somebody else on as an affiliate. But what they will do is that they'll talk to 1 million people about the security aspects of data, online data, and why it needs to go onto a platform like Iova, blockchain-based, internet-based, if you want to call it that. But then if you take MTI, Mirror Trading International, for argument's sake, that's a pure system of investment, growth of investment.
Yes.
So it's one of those kind of systems that if they never ever sign on another affiliate, the company will still survive because they're trading profits every single day.
Yes.
And they compound them, and you know what I mean. So there I'll go and look for heavy investors, but they sign on underneath me, and a guy would spend $1 million, and I'll make a healthy commission, and that's my income for the month, done and dusted from one customer. You know what I mean? Compared to somebody that's chasing after 100,000 sign-ons because the commission is only $2 or R1 or whatever the case you want to call it. You know what I mean? So
so it's two different stuff.
Yeah, I don't chase
volume,
the high volume stuff.
Yeah, you got more you sort of deal more with the investor type guys,
yes,
as opposed to the volumes and that. So
you know why though, Quentin? If you think about it, think of anybody you know, the circle of friends that you're around, and I mean that's indicative of everybody that exists.
Yes.
Of all the people you know 250 people. 2 of them might be potential affiliates or network marketers.
Yes.
Because it's not something everybody's used to. Everybody's grown up over the years. You go 40 hours, you go and work a job for 40 years of your life. And network marketing is actually a new concept. The fact that Amazon use it to become the biggest company in the world says that there is a need for peer-to-peer direct marketing. And that's why network marketing is definitely becoming something of the future.
I think also with this whole COVID thing and that has fast.
Absolutely.
We've been saying this now since last year. We've been talking about network marketing and it's going to be a way of doing business going forward. But obviously with COVID, everybody being at home and starting to realize that hold on, I can't just rely on my salary. I do need something else on the side instead of watching TV every night. Maybe I should be doing something else on the side. So like you said, it's exactly that.
Quentin, I'm weighing up my future now. Considering that the couple that I'm in now, the ones that I've now earmarked as my growth points in my actual income for the rest of my life.
Yes.
I don't need an office. I have a day job and I design pump stations, but I have customers that come to my office. I've got to have a desk there. I've got to pay rent. I'm paying water and lights. You know what I mean? I'm traveling to and from my office all day.
Yes.
And I've got to make 70 grand a month before I even start making a profit.
Yeah, so
every month. You know what I mean? When you do network marketing and if you do it properly and you get into the right kind of circles of people and professionals that know what they're doing, especially the product. I'm telling you, with network marketing, the product is you can go back in the history, the Amways and all the rest of it, network marketing where you used to buy and sell product. You were reliant on the fact that you had to buy $25 worth of toilet paper as part of your affiliation model. And if you didn't, well, then they'd kick you off the system or whatever it was. I don't know. I never ever got involved in that. So when you're going to look at product, is look at something that you don't physically need to stock for one. That's just my view. And something that attracts people in growing their own income with or without being professional network marketers. If you can get that and the concept works, then finding people to actually help you build the affiliation side comes naturally. Because my mates look at me and say, but geez, how do you get that right? Well, this is our earned income, Oh, that thing you signed me on that I paid for. Yeah, but I earned money out of you. Oh, okay, well, let me go and talk to my other mates that you don't know of, And then an investor as well. If you're making an investor money, like on Mirror Trading, and the guy's making 0.5% a day, he did that purely for himself. But when he talks to his other rich mates, because rich people hang out with rich people, but
100%.
and then he gets and before long he becomes a network marketer, even though passively or very silently. Yes. But he's still a network marketer. He doesn't even know it.
I think that's a major misconception. I come from a sales background and tried to unlearn a lot of things that I was taught, because this is not a sales job. It's just sharing the information, and we all do it. Yeah. A lot of people I see tell me that they can't do network marketing. They're not into sales, and then I see them taking pictures of the dinner they just had on Facebook and stuff like that. And that's basically all you're sharing. I went to this restaurant. I went here. This is a good place to go find a good bargain. They're very good at doing that, which is network marketing. Yeah, you're just sharing the opportunity. That's
absolutely
using all the tools in it. So okay, cool. So do you want to? I know this project that you're involved in with the data protection and that, which has become a massive thing, even now more than ever after this COVID, is data and the data protection. Obviously, Facebook got into a lot of trouble. I think it was last year or the year before. Do you want to maybe tell us on that concept, that project that you're busy with, and how it all works? Or
okay, the company itself is called IOVA, which stands for Internet of Value Omni-Ledger.
Okay.
The concept came from a woman that used to work on the Barack Obama election campaign. Okay. She then moved across into the US government. What do they call it? The election campaign. She was heavily involved there, analyzing data for each party. Trying to assess which party would be more comfortable if they had this kind of view. But anyway, the bottom line is that it stems from the fact that data is being used and exploited worldwide on a massive scale. And you can go and do this research, but we've basically just been in it now for the last 2 weeks, so it's brand new.
Yes.
The company's been taking 2 years to get all its financial papers in order, all its registrations, compliances, all that kind of thing. So that's another thing about this company, is that they're not one of these promising schemes, that say, one day we're going to do this and we're going to have so much gold and whatever the case is, and then a year down the line you find out, they couldn't get compliance, or the German government thought they were talking nonsense, or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? So They've got their ducks in order from the word go, before they actually launched the company and turned it into a network marketing system. But anyway, the long and the short of what they do is, the concept here is that you would create decentralized apps. So instead of the normal app that you have on your phone, it's an app that actually takes data directly to the blockchain, for obvious reasons, for protection and security. Okay. So it's unhackable. That's the first thing that they've decided to do. So worldwide, different app designers, current Apple app designers, Android app designers, and those kind of guys, they're now migrating to the D-app system.
Okay.
And they would then go to different suppliers that want information, the Nikes of this world, or car dealerships that are trying to find where the customers are, direct marketing. I mean, that's what it's becoming.
Yes.
So they'll go to those guys and say to them, what type of D-app do you want us to create? What sort of information do you want? In what format do you want the information to be presented? How do you score that information? Okay. So they create the app, and then that app comes to the user, you and I, that create all the data. And we log on to a system like that. IOVA protects it. So they're the base portal of where all the protection and the monetization of the data actually happens. And they store it and protect it there. It's monetized. Okay. So let's say 6,000 people in the area that you live.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically all share the same spending habits. Why? Because you go to the same shopping center. You fill up your car at the same garage, give or take a couple of different ones.
In that, yeah.
Yeah, so you create a little demographic of people, of 6,000 people, for argument's sake. But now, one of your local retail stores, like let's say Spar, they're now deciding they want to open a store in that area. So they first want to understand, what is the demographic of the people that actually live there? Are they rich, firstly? Do they have decent salaries?
Okay.
Do they all drive their own cars? Do we need to put a petrol station in this little center that we're going to build? So they want to do their homework properly.
Yes.
So what they would do is they would go to IOVA and say, okay, these are the criteria that we want. So they'll pose the questions. Okay. On IOVA's system, it then searches for all that information, disseminates everybody's data, and says it comes with what they call zero proof acknowledgement. Okay. So they come and they say, we have that information. If you want it, you need to pay for it. But you're not paying IOVA. You're paying the actual guy that created the data, you and I. And you and I have decided, yes, we do want anybody to know where I fill up my car. I don't give a shit. Anybody knows where I fill up my car. So they don't mind that, So you selling off as the user or the creator of the data. You say, yes, my clothing habits information you can have, where I fill up my car you can have, but I don't want you to know on my Google, when I start searching on the internet, I don't want
what
you knowing what information I'm looking for there.
Yes.
So the system then monetizes your spending habits that you're willing to release and says to the SPA organization, okay, we have the proof, and here it is. If you want it, you need to pay. In one fell swoop, the transaction goes out where 6,000 people all get paid for the information, and the SPA gets the information all in one transaction. And that works on what they call direct acyclic graphs in the blockchain. So it's the next generation of blockchain, actually.
Okay.
So, and they're doing it peer-to-peer marketing the same way. So it becomes an affiliation marketing to get this thing into the market. They need app designers. They need people willing to, because they're going to sign on 200 million people in next to no time who just want their data protected. It'll become the new internet where they'll have browsers where you're actually browsing on the blockchain and not on the open internet.
Okay.
So from a children's perspective, it's phenomenal that you can actually protect your children's data. It's amazing, man. It's unreal. This is going to make Google look like a joke. Give it 5 years though.
Okay, so basically, there's two parts to this business. Then there's the part where I'm a consumer. I'm not interested in becoming a network marketer. I can sign up to this platform, and in due course or due time, as it gets rolled out, the platform will allow me to take all my data, protect it, and if I decide to sell it on to somebody, I can then choose to sell it or not sell it or whatever. But it all stays, and it's obviously on the blockchain, which means it's perfectly secure.
It's absolutely immutable, yeah. So I think personally, and our Zoom tonight that we're going to have in an hour's time from now with the technical guys and the CEO, they're going to give us the roadmap as to what they want us as affiliates to do. Step one will always find users that will create the data for the sole purpose of protection. They don't spend a cent, they don't earn a cent, they're rather using that than searching on Google, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay? Protection of data. Then they want us to go and find the guys that would create the D-apps. Now, they have a whole list of professional guys where they are. They're based in Switzerland. So in Europe, they've got some really, if you look at the makeup of this company, who actually is involved in the company, they've got some of the world-leading guys on blockchain technology, guys and women that advise them on how the systems work for data analytics. A woman like Brittany Kaiser. You don't get more prolific people in this industry to help you and guide you through a business creation than what they've got.
Okay.
And then the next part would be, well, we're doing peer-to-peer advertising. So then we do it as an affiliation marketing system, with binary bonuses, the run-of-the-mill network marketing system. That's very lucrative. So.
And that's purely just to get the product out to market, as opposed to a typical traditional, let's set up an office, massive overheads, because this becomes a difficult thing also, from what I can see, becomes a difficult thing to get worldwide very quickly, and to try and set up satellite offices is going to take you I don't know what kind of money and long period it's going to
and peer-to-peer is non-influenced marketing, because if you think about it, you're protecting data. Governments also want data.
Yes.
And they're not necessarily good governments. Not all of the governments in the world are good governments.
Yes.
If you research the whole issue, if you go and watch videos like All Hell the Algorithm, it'll scare the living pants off you, because you cannot believe what some countries are prepared to do with the data analytics that they have their hands on, and how they manipulate whole communities based around the fact that they know what these people get up to, what their likes and dislikes are, and they start influencing them by pumping them with different information to skew their mindset about what's going on around them in the world. It's prolific, man.
You can have massive control over people if you've got enough data on that scale on them and that. So that's always the concern. That's the concern on why Facebook had to go and answer a few questions with that whole hearing and stuff like that. Because
Brittany Kaiser was instrumental in getting him dragged before the US State Senate Committee.
Is it? Okay. And she's involved in this project now?
Well, she's the executive advisor to the company, So because she understands analytics better than anybody alive, from what I understand,
Yeah. All right, cool. There's one or two things I still wanted to ask you, and I think you touched on it just now, when we first started. I'm always interested to know for you, what's the three most important things for you in business? When it comes to business, what's the three things that come to your mind that's the most important for you?
Well, having been a manager in businesses, when we discussed, let's say we started a new project, the first thing that always came to the table as a question is it sustainable? So any business I'm going to get involved in, is it sustainable? If it's not to say it's a bad business, but then I must understand that it's a key thing, and I put a timeline to it, and I say, okay, I'm going to push this thing for the next 8 months because there's a certain amount of money or a certain amount of credibility that I can get, or whatever the case is. And so you put a timeline and you say 8 months I'll walk away. Or you design it as something for lifelong, or something that you can hand over to your kids if it's your own business.
Yes.
Or if you're going to work for a corporate or something to this effect, they want to know, look, this project, this type of product, for argument's sake, will only last the next 6 years because it will stagnate, it will get stale, or whatever the case is, and then we'll move on. So you plan accordingly. But the sustainability, I think, is one of the first things that you've got to look at.
Okay.
Obviously, you go into business to make money, so obviously the profitability.
Okay.
And having done numbers like this my whole life, putting pump stations together, whatever the case is, there's a cost factor. Can you make it more efficient? Can you spend your money wisely? Like, in other words, get some of your suppliers to carry the length of period that you would pay them back. In other words, give you terms to pay them back so that you can roll your cash flow. So cash flow, from that perspective, and the profitability that comes with how you spend your money, I think is paramount. But it's as good as sustainability. And then I would say the third one is the actual credibility of what it is that you do, because take it this way: if you've got a business that's only going to run for 8 months, it doesn't matter. The plan is that it'll only run 8 months, but all the customers that you deal with over 8 months must trust you. Yeah, you know what I mean? The credibility that comes with you as the business or the salesman or whatever the case is, that trustworthiness you carry with you no matter where you go. I mean, I've got a lot of the guys that I'm dealing with now in the network marketing side were customers of mine for 30 years. Hardcore customers, technical stuff, project work, civil type project work and things like this. Yet they're willing to follow me into this because they trust my judgment. So why? Because I have credibility with what I do. So those, I think, are the three most paramount things you need in business.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. I'm going to end it there. So to make contact with you, to get hold of how to register on this platform and that, I can give your Skype ID out.
Absolutely, yeah.
So let me just quickly, I'm just going to copy that. So if you do want to make contact with Romeo and find out how to register on this platform, you can just use this. I'm going to post this or comment this link on here. That's Romeo's Skype ID. Just see if it's gone through. So you can just make contact with that ID and message him, I guess, or call him through that ID. Yeah. And then Romeo, I really appreciate your time and for making the time to come and share your information and share your knowledge with us. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to be having these lives probably trying every night at 7. So keep an eye out on my business page for these lives. And Romeo, thank you very much again. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.
You're welcome, my boy. Well done. Thank you.
Cheers, Abe.
Shot, my boy.
Okay, bye.
Okay, cheers, bye.